After Disney ousted its CEO Bob Chapek and replaced him with former chairman and CEO Bob Iger, who had left at the end of last year. Joining us now to discuss the state of leadership is the author of True North, the Emerging Leader edition, and former Medtronic CEO Bill George. Bill, always great to get some time with you. Now, you put out a tweet here after this announcement. You sound pretty optimistic on what the returning Iger can do. Why is that?
I think Bob Iger is a fantastic leader, and we have to recognize Disney is a national treasure. There's no consumer franchise that people value more than Disney. Every child wants to go to Disney World or Disneyland. And I think this is so important to Disney that Iger comes back and resets Disney in the right public view. I don't think Bob Chapek had a sense of that at all. Iger is a master, and look how he expanded the franchise, bringing in the whole Star Wars franchise with George Lucas and Marvel and particularly Pixar. And that it certainly turned around Disney Film Studios by acquiring Pixar. So I think it's the right move. Normally, I'm not excited about people coming back. In this case, it's absolutely the right move. And I applaud the board for having the courage to step up and do it now and not wait further. In fact, the stock market likes it, too, because stock's up 8% today. So they're voting with their feet.
What type of change, or at least perhaps a resumption, you might say, in culture might change as a result of Bob Iger coming back to Disney?
Yeah, I think Bob has a real sense of all his stakeholders. Certainly he does about his employees, and I'm sure they'll be cheering that he's coming back. He certainly does with his very broad customer franchise, which is very important. And he has a good sense for his investors and what they want to see done. It's an extraordinarily complex company, and it takes a master like Bob Iger to, I think, pull it all together and put it in the right public eye.
Bill, it's Julie here. How, as a leader, especially one who is as vaunted as Bob Iger, how do you avoid hubris? How do you avoid blind spots? You know what I mean? I mean, everybody talks about how fantastic he is. And I imagine that can be a trap that one can fall into.
Oh, it's a huge trap. And I've seen a lot of leaders like Elon Musk fall into this trap and others, Mark Zuckerberg. But I think in Iger's case, I remember spending half a day with him at Pixar and how humble he was, how modest. And he has a real sense of delegating to the innovators and the creators. He doesn't see himself as a creator. He knows how to attract them, bring them in, and give them license to do really creative things and very bold, courageous things. And that's where I think he has the right touch. And I don't think Chapek had that touch at all. And, this is a creative industry, and you have to know how to handle the true innovators. Otherwise, people like George Lucas would never have trusted their franchise to him.
Bill, are you shocked by the debacle that has turned into Twitter here under the leadership of Elon Musk?
No, I'm not surprised. Elon Musk is an incredible inventor, what he did with SpaceX and particularly with Tesla. But that's an engineering marvel. This is not. And he has kind of making decisions on the fly. He's lost almost all his team. And I don't know what's going to become of it. I'd love to have a digital marketplace, too, but it's got to be done with civility. You can't just say anything. And I worry a lot about the trolls and people coming on the site now and doing things that are inappropriate. So I think Elon has I don't know who's going to help him. He needs a team around him. This is an ongoing enterprise. He's not starting something new. This is an ongoing enterprise. It's real time every second when people are posting. Millions of people are posting every minute on that site. So I think he's got a tiger by the tail. He's a brilliant guy, but I think he's going to need help. And I would like to see him bring in a CEO, because I'm worried about Tesla, too. Tesla in the last year has lost half its value. That's over $600 billion. And I think he's got to get back and worry about Tesla. Tesla has enormous potential, but I think he's got to go and worry about that. And he's spending all his time, obviously, on Twitter. And I don't know if it's going to produce dividends, but it could cost a lot more on the other side.
And of course, he still has his defenders, even with regard to Twitter, right? That him cleaning house, it had to happen, et cetera. What does success look like at Twitter? What is he? I mean, besides hiring another CEO to run the place, what does he need to do to get that right?
Well, again, I'd like to see a civilized digital marketplace. I actually thought Iger was doing a good job, and he brought in people like Joel Roth around him to kind of see who's on the site. And that's not an easy task. And so he's going to have to rebuild his whole team right away. Success looks like a sound site, which is central to all of social media. Facebook is fading. We know that. And making it the central site where people can have good conversations. I think that's great. I use Twitter for leadership conversations, not personal discussion. But it's got to be someplace where people make sound comments. And we don't want a lot of Russian trolls and other people getting into the site and attacking people, which can do tremendous harm to people. So somebody's got to be moderating that content all the time. And that's the tough task. So he's got to place rocks with somebody who's really sound. And that was what success would look like to me, a really good civil digital marketplace where everyone can participate.
Bill, since we last spoke with you, we've seen this complete implosion of FTX and a lot of other crypto platforms. But locking in on FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, what is it about it from a human behavior level? How does someone like that fall into this trap and lead such a downfall of such a prominent company?
Well, let's put him in a totally different class of people like Musk and even Bob Chapek or Bob Iger. This is a young guy who really hasn't created anything, and he charmed a lot of people thinking, and he's buying a lot of failing crypto platforms and putting all this together, operating out of a hotel with his friends and colleagues in the Bahamas. And I think we just got too caught up, and he got caught up, but with how great he was, and I don't think it was ever there. I've not seen the performance at all, and boy, the harm that's been done. I feel very sad, if I'm not angry about that, about the harm that's been done to people that got sucked into this investment. And, there's huge amounts being, and you've seen it being called the worst disaster, worse than Enron. They don't even keep the books about things. And, so I think, why'd we get caught up? He was spending half his time in Washington trying to charm legislators. They promised, $1 billion to Democrats? Come on. And, of course, he can't deliver on that. He promised his whole flow to philanthropy. Sounds good, but he's not really a philanthropist. He was just charming people with his approach. And I think the bigger question is not about him, but how do people get sucked into this? Because it can happen again. There's somebody coming around every year with these kind of approaches. And I think investors have to be careful not to get drawn in, to really look who is the leader and can you trust the leader? That's right. You can trust a Bob Iger. I assure you, it's not going to be perfect, but I don't think here is someone you can trust.
Yeah, and apparently, by the way, Sam Bankman-Fried's top deputy was giving a lot of money to Republicans, so they were hedging their bets over there, I guess. Bill, George, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on the show. I love the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to talk to you.